We scour the record, my lord, which covers the 24th and the 25th. We couldn't find any reference to this evidence by Captain Charlie. If maybe counsel can direct the court to the specific portion of the evidence.
You checked Charlie's evidence, sir?
Yes, Captain Charlie's evidence.
You checked it?
Yes, the 24th and the and the 25th.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
As it is the court, my lord.
Did you hear what your colleague is saying?
I'm a bit amazed because I'm still, the witness is still under cross-examination. I don't know whether that was an objection or what. So I'm then all of a sudden expected to answer to the state. I'm not answerable to the state.
What is your comment? Why the comment?
No, we said yesterday before we adjourned, we raised an objection.
Okay.
And, you know, we just merely elaborating on the objection that we raised yesterday, that we put in record, that there's no proposition, my lord. There's no support in the record for the proposition by counsel that Charlie testified that this firearm, which was destined for destruction, he sealed it in his in a different seal from that of Warrant Officer Rule Officer. That is the objection that we raised.
Evidence of Charlie's page what?
Sorry.
The evidence of Charlie is encapsulated on page 1 of the record?
It's on the 25th.
25th and 25th.
24th and 25th. And 25th August.
August.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yes, let's go.
Counsel says it's not answerable to us, we understand, but we are saying it's a wrong proposition that is put into the witness. If he can support that by reference to the relevant passage in the record, that would be then an entirely different matter.
Yeah, he says it's not answerable to the state.
Yes, madam.
So can you go, Mr. Charlie? I mean, Mnisi. I've made note of that.
Yes,
yeah.
And over and above that, my lord, I want to also buttress this with the following. Proceedings are conducted in terms of the rules of the High Court. And Rule 38 does not make a provision that each time an assertion is made to a witness that must be cross-referenced to a particular record. That rule does not make that provision. If the state is unhappy with the assertion that I've put, then they can raise that in argument and specifically refer the court during argument to that portion that they say or that they think does not support my assertion. But I'm not obliged, in terms of the rules of the High Court, to keep on referring the court to a particular page or a date on the record on which that evidence is coming from. And I'm basing that on, and the reason why I'm saying I'm not answerable to the state, I'm basing that on what the rules are saying.
My lord, the rules of cross-examination are very clear and succinct. If you make a proposition to a witness, it must be correct. And we are saying that proposition is not correct. So if counsel contends that is correct, then he must show that it is found on a particular portion of the record. That's why we have the record. But we're saying he cannot put or continue along that cross-examination if we have raised an objection and he cannot demonstrate that his assertion is correct. That's the simple rules of cross-examination.
As it is the court, what the state also forgets is that it depends upon the court. If the court makes a ruling on whether or not I can proceed with that line of questioning, then if the court says yes, proceed, I may proceed, or I can proceed. If the court says no, you shouldn't proceed, then I won't proceed.
Yeah, proceed, Mr. Mnisi.
Thank you, my lord. Now, sir, yesterday, I did not get your answer very clear. I think it was because of the interruption which I experienced when I wanted to know the reason why you decided to take that bag which was containing this firearm, despite the fact that it had a broken seal, when you had earlier on testified that you would not receive a bag with a broken seal. I did not get your reason. Can you please repeat it if you did?
Izolo besengibuzela ukuthi usithathele lesasikhwama ebese sivule ukuthi usicacisele ukuthi nina nizamukele ikhwama esivulile.
My lord, the reason why exhibits are brought to the lab being in sealed bag is to contain or to maintain the chain of evidence from where the firearm was collected or from where it was collected. The IO or the LCRC memo will put it in a sealed bag and send it to the lab so that there's no tampering with the exhibit all the way. Now, in this instance, the firearm is under police custody, is at the SAP 13. So, preventing the contamination, what contamination will it be? I went there to sign for it from the SAP 13. It was not sealed. I booked it out, not sealed. If the police officer goes to the SAP 13, any other maybe investigating officer, they will also find the firearms not sealed. They will seal and then send it to the lab. So I went to fetch it. Why must I seal it so that I can open it again? If I receive it from the SAP 13, it's not sealed. If they receive them from the SAP 13 also, they are not sealed. They are the ones who seal it. So why would the SAP 13 clerk seal it? I don't see the reason why must they seal those firearms.
Are you asking me those questions?
I'm answering the question.
Lezo spam bese sisemaphoyiseni and ngaleso sikhathi ke izithola bese zivuliwe. Asikho isizathu sokuthi ngiphinde ngisifake esikhwameni ngizivalisise bese ngiyothi ngifika la engifika khona ngiphinde ngizivule. So sibone isizathu sokuthi ngikwenze lo.
Let me make my question very clear again. In your testimony, you have asked you pertinently about the situation of a bag which has got a broken seal that contains an exhibit that is sent to the forensic science laboratory, the ballistic section thereof. Then you specifically said no, you would not even accept it. Now, why did you accept or take this exhibit to the forensic science laboratory when you could see that the seal thereof was broken? That's my simple question, specifically this firearm.
Izolo ngibuzile wangiphendula umbuzo ukuthi uma ulethwa isikhwama esesivuliwe ngilina nenza kanjani wasukwena cha asisamukele leso sikhwama manje ke lana uthi usithathile lesi sikhwama sesivuliwe ubuza ukuthi njengoba usuchazile ukuthi anizamukele ikhwama evuliwe lesi usamukele kanjani.
Well, the original case of that firearm was finalized. So the firearm was destined for destruction. So there was no need for them to seal it. When I received it, it was not sealed, and I understand why it was not sealed. So if it was maybe the IO who collected it to send it to her, he will collect it unsealed and then he will seal it and send it to her.
So besingasekho impela isidingo sokuthi isibhamu lesi siphinde sifake esikhwameni ngoba lesi ngaleso sikhathi lesi sikhwama lesi kwakuwukuthi sesifuna bafuna ukuyoshabalalisa basiphelise so abengasayiboni isidingo sokuthi ngiphinde ngisifake esikhwameni.
So the reason why you specifically took this firearm is because you see no reason why it should have been sealed again because it was designed for destruction. That is your reason.
Shithike wena isizathu sakho sokuthatha le ukuthi silesi sibhamu singavaliwe ukuthi busakwazi kahle ukuthi asiseshatalanisa.
Sorry, before you answer that, Mr. Interpreter, you forgot to mention that This witness says the Cleveland case was finalized. You forgot to mention that.
I did mention it.
Oh, you did mention it?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. If you did, no problem.
My lord, I don't see the reason why the SAP-13 clerk will have to seal the firearm if it's destined for destruction.
Angibona isizathu sokuthi siphinde sifake isibhamu lesi esikhwameni kuwukuthi bese siyoshota laleli.
Yeah.
Sir, without laboring this point, I'm going to put it to you that Mr. Muchali came and told this court that he would also not accept an exhibit that is not sealed in his possession. So in other words, when he took over this exhibit from those that he received from, he made it a point that it is sealed, and it has been sealed according to him when he received it. When you received it, all of a sudden the seal is broken.
So if there's an objection, we submit that there's no obligation on this witness to answer to that proposition as it doesn't accord with the evidence that is on record of Captain Charlie.
I'll come and demonstrate, my lord, what Mr. Mchali said. But nonetheless, let me proceed. I'm just, on this point, I'm putting it in abeyance. I'll come and proceed on it. Because I specifically want to demonstrate that what I'm putting across this witness, I'm not thumb-sucking it. It's there. That's what Mr. Mchali said.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, you said the reason for the sealing, just some 3 minutes ago, the reason for the sealing of a bag is because is to avoid the contamination and the tampering, and there's just no reason why the SAP-13 should reseal an exhibit bag. That's amongst others what you said, not so.
Also, ukushiloka ukuthi isibhamu sifakwa izinto zifakwa lapha ekhwameni kwenzela ukuthi kungabi nabazoguqula ukuthize leso sibhamu ukuze kwazi ukuthi uma ukuthi sisavalisisekele akukho ukuguquka okwenziwe kuleyo nto efakwa isibhamu esikhwameni anginjalo.
My lord, I said I do not see the reason why the SAP-13 clerk would have to seal the firearm, that the case has been finalized and the firearm has been destined for destruction.
Ngishiye mina ngibona ukuthi uClark ku-SAP-13 ibiza sifakelane isibhamu esikhwameni sivalisise ukuthi bekwaziwa kahle nje ukuthi hayi besiseshatshalaleni.
Now, sir, back to your version. You're saying on the 20th, you went to Cleveland and received this firearm in a bag which had a broken seal.
Ngithe ngomhla 20 waya lapha eCleveland uyothatha isibhamu besisikhwameni ebesisivuliwe.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. Now, and you found that bag in a broken seal. You found the firearm in a bag which the seal thereof was broken.
Uthole isikhwama isibhamu sisesikhwameni sasisivuliwe.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. Is it normal? Is it procedure with regard to the handling of firearm exhibits to put them in a seal bag, and then thereafter person then says, I've got no obligation to seal this bag, although there's a firearm inside?
Indlela enziwa ngayo yini ukuthi uma ke kuwukuthi ke isibhamu sibe sifakwe esikhwameni esivaliwe ebese ke kuba khona ophula leyo la kuvalwa khona lapha esikhwameni ukuthi sivule igcine sesivulekile lesikhwama ukuthi nisamukele.
In other words, why would a firearm be put in a seal bag and in a forensic bag and the seal thereof be left opened?
Engakusho futhi isikhwama singabe kanjani esikhwameni forensic bag ebese ke emva kwaloko ke siyeke singavalisisi.
My lord, the case was finalized. The firearm was collected from the lab in a sealed evidence bag. It went back to the SAP-13. I cannot speak for the SAP-13. It might be because they were changing it from SAP-13, or maybe they were doing inspection. If you are doing inspection of a firearm that is in a sealed bag, and the firearm is, the case is finalized, you'll open the bag to confirm that this is the right firearm. So it might be that they opened the bag because they were doing inspection or something. So I cannot speak for them. Why did they open the bag?
Ngikwazi bakhulumela ukuthi babe sivudelane leso sikhwama uma ukuthi ufuna ukuhlola ukuthi sibhamiso ngempela yini uyaphoqeleka uma uswazi ukuthi icala seliphelile ungayivula uvulela ukuthi ubone ukuthi isona yini ngempela leso sikhwama kodwa ngikwazi bakhulumela.
Now you can immediately hear yourself speaking. You say maybe, you can't speak for themselves. You also don't know what happened. So your answer is just a speculative hypothesis. So.
But the question asked to me is, why did I receive it in the open bag? Why the bag was open? I don't know who opened the bag, and I don't know what the reason why they opened the bag.
Ngimuzi ukuthi yini ngisamkelile isikhwama esivuliwe angazi ukuthi basivulele yena ngikwazi futhi bakhulumela.
Thank you. That is the point. You don't know who opened the bag. You don't know why the bag that was sealed at the Forensic Science Laboratory when it arrived at SAP-13 got broken. For what purpose was it broken? What happened after it got broken? How was the firearm handled immediately after the seal was broken? All those things, you don't know them, not so?
Awazi ukuthi ubani wavula lesi sikhwama, awazi ukuthi yini indaba lesi sikhwama SAP-13 sasivulekile, awazi ukuthi kwakuyini inhloso ukuthi sivule lesikhwama, awazi ukuthi lesi sibhamu saphathwa kanjani emva kokuthi sivule lesi sikhwama. Imibuzo ongakwazi ukuba nempendulo yonke.
That's correct, Lord. I don't know how was it open.
Yebo kunjalo angazi ukuthi savula kanjani.
Thank you. And you also don't know in whose hand this firearm landed after the seal bag thereof was broken.
But awazi ukuthi sagcina sifike ezandleni zikabani lesi sibhamu emva kokuthi isili lena isidabukile.
I don't know, man.
Angikwazi lo.
Thank you. Now, against this background that you do not know, would you still say that the sanctity of the preservation of this firearm was guaranteed or was preserved?
Usho ukuthi ke manje ke kwakugciniwe yini kungaguquki kwalesi sibhamu emva ukuthi sivuleke leso sikhwama sivule leso sikhwama.
My lord, the case of that firearm was finalized, so there was no need to keep the chain of custody proper if it's in the SAP-13 and is distant for destruction.
Uma ukuthi ke ngoba icala leli lase livaliwe singesekho isidingo sokuthi sigcinwe leso sibhamu ngaphansi kwe-SAP-13 ngalendlela yokuthi sihlale sivalelwe.
That's not my question, sir. My question is on the basis of the fact that you said there are a lot of things that you do not know relating to the handling of this firearm. Why was it broken? When was it broken? For what purpose? In whose hand did it land? Against that background that you do not know, as a forensic expert, a ballistic expert, would you then stand there with a straight face and say the sanctity of the preservation of this firearm was still clear?
Njengoba kubuza umbuzo omningi ukuthi isibhamu sathathwa ubani sasivulelweni isavulwaneni and ngasiphi isizathu njengoba unganazo-ke iy'mpendulo lapho njengoba uwumchwepheshe weze-ballistic ungasho ukuthi-ke ukungaguquleki kwesibhamu kwakusagciniwe yini?
I don't know, man.
Cha ngikwazi lo.
Thank you. Don't know. Now, thank you, sir. When exhibits are brought to the firearm, no, to the forensic science laboratory, I'm sorry. A firearm, let us narrow our conversation to the forensic science laboratory, the ballistic section. When exhibits brought to the ballistic section, somebody bringing it, what is the procedure?
Umbukiso ke letha lapha forensic science laboratory ku sections wanje.
My lord, when the exhibits are brought to the lab,
Yes.
it's either by the IO or by the LCRC, they will bring the lab to the exhibits to the lab, seal the evidence back, and they book them at the case reception where they receive the firearm or the exhibits.
Yes.
They book it in the on the system and they distance it to the specific section where it's going.
Okay.
Kusho ukuthi ke uma umbukiso letha lapha mhlawumbe izolethwa umseshi ophenya lelo cala noma lapha LCRC ilethwa ukuthi sesikhwamele ezivalisisiwe and then ke uma fika lapho ke kuyabhala ukuthi sifikile mase sibhaliwe ukuthi sifikile sebezozidlulisa bazise la kule section esifanele ziye kuyona.
Thank you. Now, upon arrival at the reception section of the laboratory, of the ballistic laboratory, what is it that is being done to acknowledge the receipt of the firearm? For instance, an investigating officer takes in a firearm there. What is it that it would be a proof that is submitted a firearm to the forensic science laboratory?
Manje ke uma sesifikile ke kuleyo section leso sibhamu lesifanele siyekuthiwa yini ke yenziwayo uqinisekisa ukuthi siboniwe ukuthi sifikile lapho?
If it's the IO or the LCRC, you will receive it's either a copy or a slip that shows that the firearm has been handed in at the case reception.
Hayi thina ke sowenza samukela islip esikhombisayo ukuthi isibhamu leso samukelwe case reception.
Would that be the acknowledgement of receipt of the firearm by the forensic science laboratory?
Niyavuma ukuthi nisitholile leso sibhamu.
That's correct. The receipt will be an acknowledgement of receipt of the receipt.
Yeah, receipt leyo lizobe likhombisa ukuthi yebo siyavuma ukuthi samukele leso sibhamu.
Thank you. Now, you went to Cleveland, fetched the firearm, took it to the forensic science laboratory, the ballistic section thereof. Did you follow that procedure as well? Was an acknowledgement of receipt also issued to you when you arrived to the firearm?
Uhambile waye Cleveland walanda isibhamu weza naso ke uma sofika naso isibhamu lapha kukhona yini okwenziwe ukuthi kwazise ukuthi ngempela ubuye naso lesi sibhamu ulandelile yini indlela okwenziwa ngayo uma kutholakala isibhamu lelo receipt ke lelo libhaliwe yini?
My lord, it's a different case. It's not brought by an investigating officer. It's not brought by. I went to sign for it so that I can shoot the test. The firearm was already finalized at the lab. So for me to go and fetch it, it should do just a re-examination of the test on the same firearm. So there was no need for me to book it in at the case reception and book it out again.
Bengasadingeka ukuthi lesi sibhamu lesi ngiphinde ngisibhukele kuya ngaphandle ngoba icala ke lihambelana nalesi sibhamu lase seliphethiwe mina ngihambe ngayothatha lesi sibhamu ngifuna ukuzodubula bese ngima sengiqeda lapho bese ngiyasiphindisela.
And it was not registered as a new case because I was already handling the case.
And futhi ke asizange sibhaliswe njengecala elisha ngoba bese ngiqhubeka ngenza umsebenzi kulo leli cala.
We have just mentioned, sir, that the case specifically for which this firearm was brought to the forensic science laboratory was finalized. It was closed. It was destined for destruction, fortuitously, allegations, allegedly, fortuitously then you stumble across something that you wanted to match with the firearm. So the firearm, when it went out of the forensic science laboratory, it was on the understanding that the case for which it was initially brought to the forensic science laboratory, it was finalized. So when it had to come for the second time, it had to come as a new exhibit. I'm not so sure whether I was too long. Okay, thank you.
But uma ke lesi sibhamu lesi silethwa lapha emaphoyiseni sasesiyisibhamu nje esifanele siyositshatshalaliswa ngoba i-case ibisiphelile. Kodwa ke uma sesilethwa lapha e-science laboratory bese silethwa phela ngecala elisaqhubeka. Angazi uma kubheke kahle.
Yes. So why was it then not registered with the administrative section of the ballistic laboratory?
Manje ngeke singabhaliswanga lapho la kubhaliswa khona elaboratory.
When I went to fetch it, the firearm was at the lab. The tests were fired in the firearm, but the tests were not sufficient for comparison. They were not good enough for the comparison that I wanted. So when I went to fetch it at Cleveland, I went to fetch it under the same case number of Cleveland, and I came back with it still in my custody, not sent by anybody, but still in my custody.
Mangilanda lesi sibhamu kwakuyisibhamu esake saba selebhe esasesidujuliwe kodwa ke leso inhlamvu lesi sasidujule sasingalingene kahle ukuthi singasinika umphumela ongcono. So uma ngasilanda ngalo leli cala leli lase Cleveland elasetshenziswelwe lona. So kungasenaso isidingo sokuthi ngiphinde futhi ngiregister.
But sir, is it not so that an instrument that gets into the premises of the laboratory needs to account through the administrative section that at this moment in time, these are the type of instruments that are in our possession? Should that not be the case?
Kanti akunjalo yini ukuthi uma kuwukuthi kukhona imibukiso elethwa elaboratory ifanele ibe nokuziphendulela ukuthi nazi nayi imibukiso ekhona esiyiphethe lapha elaboratory kwazi ukuthi inemibukiso emingaki lapha elaboratory.
No, my lord. If there was a new case registered under it, then I would expect it to be handed in that process. But there was no new case opened on that case.
Ngoba kunecala elisha elivuliwe elibhekwayo ngaso leso sibhamu, yebo kufanele kwenziwe njalo, kodwa kwakungenacala elisha elalivuliwe ngale ngaso leso sibhamu. So akuzange kube nesidingo sokuthi sibhaliswe.
I will not want to leave at this point, sir. I will leave it for arguments. Thank you. But I'm putting it to you that the procedure which you followed as an expert on the acquisition of the firearm from Cleveland into the premises of the Forensic Science Laboratory, the ballistic section thereof, was very irregular.
Ngizokusho nje ukuthi ke njengochwepheshe ukulandwa kwalesi sibhamu silandwa eCleveland siswa elaboratory, indlela ekwenziwa ngayo akuyona indlela ejwayelekile.
No, my lord, it was not irregular. It was regular because the firearm was there and was only to shoot the test.
Cha kwakuyindlela eyamkelekayo ukuthatha lapho ngoba sasize lapha ukuthi nje kuyofuna ukuthi sitest. Kwakungenacala elisha.
Thank you. There is another exercise that I wanted us to embark upon, sir. Unfortunately, I need to inquire from the state through the court of court, my lord. My lord, I think it's almost 2 weeks. If my memory serves me well, it could be last week Monday, I just can't remember the date well. I requested the state, because there was a technician that was working on the uploading of certain photos on the system there. Then I requested the state to assist me, because that would form part of my cross-examination to Lieutenant Colonel, to upload certain photos onto the system. I am not so sure, and I specifically showed them what photos would I have requested to be loaded into the system. So I'm not so sure whether those photos were loaded. And I specifically indicated to them the format in which those photos need to be loaded into the system. And the technician who was there, he said, no, that is quite possible. And then I left it there. I'm not so sure whether that has been done, because that is going to constitute my next segment of my cross-examination. Thank you.
Mr. Baloyi?
When we went through the database, we couldn't find those specific photos, but we do have a complete digitized photo album of Colonel Mnisi. I don't know if council wants to use any of those photos. We'll be able to show them on the screen.
Yes, Mr. Judge, you say Colonel Mnisi, is it?
I did not get that, Mala.
He's saying the photos which the state has in possession of, they are in digital form. And Colonel Mnisi,
Yes.
Mahlasho,
Yes, Colonel Mnisi.
Mahlasho, yeah, is the person who digitalized them.
Yes, we also have digitized photos of the photo album of Colonel Mangena.
Yes, that's what the response
Thank you,
is.
Mala. Those are the photos that I actually requested that they should be loaded into the system. I didn't ask that whether they are digitalized photos or what. I specifically requested and directed them to specific photos to be loaded into the system, because that is going to constitute my next segment, the next segment of my cross-examination to this witness. And it was never indicated to me that won't be possible. But from the word of the technician that the state was working with, that was quite possible. It was actually a 5-minute thing, even lesser. I inquired with the state, I think it was on Monday, whether that has been done. I can't remember the answer that I got, my lord.
Can we just have the photos, my lord, so that we can just recheck again the shoot?
Thank you. I can tell them the photo numbers. I can give them the photo numbers. On the photo album of in Exhibit 13A, which is the affidavit of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, being the reconstruction of the scene, I referred to them to photo number 12. Yes. Actually, to two photos, 12 and 8. Yes, it was 12 and 8. 12 will do because it seems to be more visible. And then on Lieutenant Colonel, on Warrant Officer Muhlasho's photo album, I refer to them to photo number 19. Yes. I refer them to photo number 19.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi. You are able to bring them through your digitalized equipment.
Yes, our laptop is just frozen. Can you just take a 5-minute break? Apparently it's now up and running.
as it is the court, my lord, we are identifying some sort of a discrepancy in respect of the photo album that in Exhibit 13, 13A, yes, there's a bit of a discrepancy there. The copy that I have was actually commissioned by Solomon K. Modisane on the 5th of November 2014, while the copy that Advocate Numalo has was commissioned by somebody different on a different date. Now, we don't know. Maybe the state can just explain which copy is it that should actually be used.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
Lord, the exhibits that we have that council wants to refer to, which is exhibit X13 in brackets A, the affidavit of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, consists of the photos of the scene as well as photos taken at the mortuary. It was commissioned on the 5th of November 2014 by Lieutenant Colonel Solomon Modisane.
Yes,
The
sir.
state is repeating exactly what I've said, my lord, but that does not seem to assist us, because I'm saying my colleague that is seated next to me here, Advocate Numalo, has his copy commissioned on the 5th of July 2017. Yes. Now, the one that I have is commissioned on the 5th of November 2014. That there's a lot of discrepancies in this affidavit, my lord. So I don't know now if I'm going to proceed on which affidavit must I then proceed on. The one that is in because both of them are from the state. The one that is in possession of my colleague Advocate Numalo, or the one that is in my possession.
My Lord, I don't know why we should have this debate. Council is in possession of the affidavit dated 5 November 2014. That's the one that he should proceed on. All council were given the same exhibits, and this is the exhibit that was marked Exhibit 13A. All of them should have the same exhibit, and that is the exhibit that he should proceed on.
The state does not seem to understand the gist of and the imperative of what is happening here, my lord. I cannot proceed on a document simply because the state says I must proceed on. This is an affidavit. It's something that was made under oath, my lord.
Yeah, but Mr. Baloyi says you can proceed on,
But that is the problem. If I proceed on the one that I have,
which is one? It was commissioned on the one he says you can proceed on is the one commissioned on the 5th of November 2014.
but then the state does not explain that discrepancy, my lord.
What discrepancy
The
is it?
discrepancy that mine is commissioned on a different date and the one that is in possession of my colleague here is commissioned on a different date.
And the contents are not the same.
Yes, can we just have the document that Advocate Numalo says is his copy? Because
It doesn't say, it is a document that says that. It's not
Sorry,
him,
sorry.
it's a document.
Mr. Baloyi, did you supply that document to Mr. Numal?
I just want to have a look at it. Yes, it's exactly the same exhibit, my lord. Exactly the same photo. I think what might have happened is perhaps the last page on which the affidavit was commissioned could have been attached by a different page, could have been attachment, but the content is exactly the same.
So the two documents are similar.
Yes, exactly the same.
My lord, as I said, there were different teams which were investigating this. The
Yeah.
original is the one that was signed on the 5th of November. That is in the docket. So at one stage, some of the investigating officers came to my office, they were requesting for it. I said, it's in the docket. They said, we don't have that docket. Can you just give us another statement and then sign it on this day so that we have it? It might be one of those reports.
So the one which was commissioned on the 5th of July.
On the 5th of
July.
November 2014.
Sorry, on the 5th of November, fine. And then subsequently, some of the investigating officers came seeking
Looking for the
affidavit.
affidavit and said they want the affidavit. And I told them that it's in the docket, but they said they can't find the docket because there were different teams which were investigating. It might be because of on that day they came. I could have signed maybe another docket for them to just for them to do an investigation.
So you made two affidavits.
Yeah, they say it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, okay, let's proceed, Mr. Mnisi. They say those documents are the same. It's the same document, duplicated.
These documents are not the same, my lord. And I'm going to implore the state to come up very openly. These documents are not the same. I'm going to give the state these documents, both of them, so that the state can go through these documents and make up their minds.
I'll give Advocate Numalo my copy. He can my colleague. So
That does not how it works, my lord. This is not how it works. We just don't throw things around here. We're working on a base of explanations here. What happened? If it needs be, then there could be a trial within a trial in respect of this document. But it does not work like I just give Advocate Numalo my copy so he can work on it. It does not work out like that. Otherwise, that is it's a strict procedure.
Which document did you receive? Which document did you yourself receive?
Who?
You.
I received Exhibit 13A, my lord. Exhibit X 13A.
Which was commissioned on?
Which was commissioned on the 5th of November 2014.
Okay. The deponent to this document, which was commissioned on the 5th of October 2014, is who?
It's Captain, I don't see,
Is it?
I can't see, I can't read this. Oh, it's Captain Simangel.
Mangena, yeah, fine.
No, it's Captain.
Captain Mangena.
Yes.
Is there somebody like that?
It's me, man.
Oh, okay, fine. And then the other document which you say you don't understand why it's there, is it commissioned on the 5th of July 2017?
The state took it, my lord.
Yeah, but is it commissioned on the 5th of July 2017?
Yes. 27. I don't know what the date is.
Ten-
my lord. The state is in possession of that document.
Which date was it commissioned on, that document?
it's 5th July 2017.
Yeah, 5th July 2017. And who's the deponent in that document?
It's the deponent. It's Colonel Mangena, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
Yeah, okay.
It consists of exactly 22 pages, just as with the other documents. So as the witness has just explained, the only difference is the commissioning part, but it's exactly the same.
Okay, yeah, let's go on, Mr. Mnisi. Say that those two documents are in fact one document.
I did not get that, my lord.
No, I say you can continue.
Oh, okay, no,
They say-
thank you, my lord. If the court is ruling that these documents constitute one document, then I don't know.
Yeah, they say so.
We've checked it page for page, man.
Page for page.
Exactly
Same
the
document.
Except
It
it
just
has-
fits in maybe with the explanation the panel has given that a second similar statement was made because the initial one was not traceable at that stage.
That's correct, madam.
Yeah, let's go on because
Thank you, my lord.
it's one document.
Thank you, my lord.
If there are any differences, cross-examine on both documents because here's the witness,
Thank you, my lord.
right?
May I then be assisted with those photos? Now, what I requested, my lord, is that those photos should be beamed side by side. In other words, they must stand parallel. I don't know if the state will be in a position to do that, but the technician that was assisting them that other day, he said, no, that is very simple, you could do it.
Let me just get the photo numbers of surface album. I think it was 8 and 12. It's 8 and 12.
It's 8
Do you have the numbers on the photos?
8 and 12.
It's,
12.
8 and
12. Let's go with 12.
So you only need one photo to be beamed, and that is photo number 12.
Just a second. That's photo number. Let me start here. On Musia's photo album is photo number 19. Mushahlo, not Musia, Mushahlo's photo album, photo number 19.
So this photo, are you saying it was taken by Warrant Officer Mhlahlo?
Madam, I'm not so sure whether the state is doing what I requested them to do because they're only beaming one photo and then they're keeping quiet. I'm not so sure whether they're still trying to get the other one that I said should also be beamed side or on the side of this.
Is it possible to beam both of those photos?
Maybe if we take the short adjournment at this stage, Monok, let's see if we can get the technician to do that, my lord.
What's the time?
It's 4 minutes to 11. We can resume at 11:15.
Okay. Agenda 11.